Whether you believe it or not, whether you want it or not, we are going for another wave of bulls coming back into the market, bringing a lot of money in. This is how we get the all season. We get to see the movement in Bitcoin, we get to see the movement in Ether, and then large cap coins. We can see XRP is one among the large cap coins. There is no doubt about it. And then what you have to understand is what's Ether doing right now, along with the altcoin market cap, the XRP, if you wish to compare directly with XRP, then the Bitcoin market itself, and then you come look at what XRP is doing with relation to the general BTC market. So you kind of get an idea. Okay, this is what you can see, but I'm more into XRP. What do I look forward? You get all of those, right? You get to discuss that. Now, precisely why am I highlighting this? Because the altcoin market cap is at an area where it's correcting down, showing you the bull trend in that pattern after the huge run up. So that's a correction there, right? So when you come back to this one, you get to understand that flow of money goes into Bitcoin, the prices surge, blah blah blah, you reached 65k, you're correcting there, and now the money is moving into Ether. And a lot of people have doubt, no, Ether is not doing that much, it didn't move much. And that's why I want to show you guys this chart, which is Ether BTC. Now, why am I highlighting on this one? I'm not saying you should go and buy Ether. Instead, I'm looking at different altcoins, and for me here in this channel, I'm talking about XRP, right? So in that aspect, I'm highlighting you that this is a huge deal. See, when you look at this one, you get to understand that it was in this pattern, say 1, 2, 3 and 4 times it went up. That line acting as a trend line resistance is now valid. Anything after three or more touches gives you valid trend line, and this one shows you that you broke above, you came back, you retested that 3 times, and you're still holding. That's actually a great deal. Now what you want here is a breakout, and if that breakout is to the upside, which in this pattern it gives you like 65% of the time it breaks to the upside, and you look at the indicators trending higher, you look at the MACD, it's still in the positive zone and it's going to cross to the upside. So that's bullish stuff which you can really get. Now, yes, that's the side of technicals. Now, if you look at the macro scenario, you explain through it, blah blah blah, you understand the real point. And then the fundamental side of it is really important, as highlighted by XRP data, and this is really important. You need to understand things are changing. Now, when you read through this, it's really interesting to see that this is a bank branched all over in Venezuela. And why am I highlighting that? Because when you look for cross-border payments, and you look at for a country like Venezuela, where your inflation rate is through the roofs, it's reaching the sky, you don't really want to use your fiat currency to do that cross-border payment, because on a regular basis it's more volatile than crypto. It's kind of, now some may get offended from the same region, but it's not valued anymore, right? You use dollar, you use Bitcoin, people use a lot of different type of assets instead of the fiat. So in that case, when you come to this area of cross-border payment, I don't think they're going to use this, because as you move forward, you kind of get this one, right? Global partners with 76 banks in 14 countries, 51 Japanese partner banks. Why am I highlighting that like that? Because Japan is really high on XRP and XRP Ledger. We have seen it, right? We went through the documents. Now look at this one. It's not a big deal to understand that it's not like a question of what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. It's just like, when this is going to happen, because we all know that this really is going to happen. And this tweet from Xavier kind of gives you an idea where we are all going towards, because that's the macro perspective there, right? They're all looking for payments. Now, when they say Bitcoin, you also need to understand that they are pointing towards blockchain technology. And once they start using Bitcoin, what happens? They understand, okay, for payments, this may not be the right asset. Now, I'm not saying, the researchers in Amazon are idiots. They don't know anything about this and they don't understand this right now. I'm saying the possibilities are that the mass adoption, a lot of money is there in Bitcoin, and they want to attract that money all the way towards their business model. So for that, they will show this. And as you saw in El Salvador, it's like, yeah, we're gonna go with Bitcoin. Great. Afterwards, they come up and say, okay, we are gonna create a stable coin for our payment system. Why? They understood Bitcoin is not gonna work as a payment system when we are going towards a green, sustainable energy. Now, let's dive into the charts to understand what's going to happen, how it's going to give you next run up. When you look at the average market in the cycle, you kind of get different points, right? The market moves in all different ways, and you can look at 15 to 30x. Now, on average, you're going to make 15x in most of the assets if it has fundamentals, if it has liquidity, and you are there at the right price. So let's dig deep. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now, why do I say like we are going to go into a deep area where we are going to make a lot of profit? Because I do believe this is a trend which I'm observing here. Now, yeah, it won't be clearly visible for you guys, but the idea which I'm giving here is like, say we went with wave 1, great. Now we corrected down 70 to 80 percentage. Some asset like Dent and all went 89, 90 percentage to the downside. Now you also have to understand those which went 90 percentage down, they went 50, 60, 100, 200x to the upside. So the consolidation range for them will be higher. So we are calculating them on a regular basis so that we understand what we can anticipate. Then, if this is the average line, we have assets which were kind of the average, which were below the average, which were above the average. So now we know which performed above average and what that's going to do in next 6 months, which performed below the average, what that's going to do in next 6 months. So if you are ready, you are prepared with our one-on-one sessions in Patreon, you actually understand what's happening right now in the market. And in that case, you are ready to rock and roll. Now, look at this. As we break to the upside with the indicators turning in bullish with the rounded bottom trending high and all, you're going to see altcoin market breaking to the upside. You're going to see a lot more money coming back into the market. But it's the question of some of the coins which performed 100x may not be performing well. As I just explained, those which went above the average are going to be performing below the average next time. Those which were close to average, I'm neutral on that. I'm not sure what those coins are going to do, but those performed below the average, they are going to do extremely well. Conditions apply, meaning they are fundamental coins with a lot of adoption growing, a lot of liquidity in it, the daily trading volume is high, and you get the expansion of the project even during a bear market. In that conditions, if the project is surviving, a correction during wave 1 is nothing. Now, let's talk in detail for XRP USD. You see this pattern where we are near the resistance. We need to break higher. You see that the MACD is about to cross to the upside. We are near the point. Now this is a 3-day chart. We've been talking about this from some time. We are waiting for that cross to the upside. RSI already broke to the upside. Now we want MACD to cross to the upside and then the price to move. So first point of resistance would be 0.64, which is kind of the area where you're going to break out. Then afterwards, you're going to look for 0.71. That region was a long-term resistance here. So, that's not something which is silly because we need to break above it. Now, look at Bitcoin. It's breaking through its trend line resistance, but at the same time, you do have the standard deviation there, meaning you've wicked there once. You came back down here a couple of times. Great. But you wicked back and you closed here. So that's your trend line support. But in the long range, when you're zooming out, you also see the standard deviation, the price coming back down. So if that's the case, the same is going to happen with the top two. So breakout about 35.5 is going to be the indicator which you are looking at. But RSI has already shown you it's breaking to the upside. Now, that's been there from 2021, early days, right? So it's valid from like 7 months and it's breaking out now. So that point, it showed you a correction because the price was going up, the indicator was going down, it showed you a bearish divergence, and that literally came in. Now it's showing that we are breaking to the upside, but the difference here is it showed you this indicator near March that possibilities are we are going to go down, and you actually went down by May. So April, May, there was like 2 months difference. So in that case, RSI was like an indicator which showed you something 2 months ahead. Now if that's the case, you're breaking at the late July. So 2 months, August, September. By that time, you would be going up. Now, the key take here is, in that 2 months, what will be the altcoins doing? If altcoins are running, and if this is valid and we understand this correctly, in next 2 months, we think possibilities are high that they are going to run. The altcoins are going to have a good chunk of run. The money is going to flow in here, right? So taking that into account, and we look at these, we also tend to understand that, okay, right now on a weekly chart, that's taking another step back, right? We just talked about XRP on a 3-day chart, and we talked like a couple of candles, that's like 6 days, 9 days. We're going to cross to the upside in MACD, but when we step into a weekly chart, this is what we see. This range was a resistance from sometimes. We went, we tested it and came back down. But now we had a support. Now in this support, the previous resistance zone is now turning as a support zone. That's now support resistance zone. But the another main stuff is we wicked lower, but we came towards 200-day moving average and bounced. That's not a small deal in a bull market. In a bull market, what you want? You want to look at these and say, great, that's noted. The point is noted. You understood that. Then you look at that golden cross. When you had that golden cross, we were here at the top, and I told you most of the time when the golden cross happens, price come back, retest the moving average and go back. Those who are in Patreon, they understand this. They go back and look at that time when we were having the golden cross, and just after that, we went through a lot of different assets, right? We gave you the indication that, yeah, the chances are we're going to come back towards the moving average. Now, yeah, my opinion was wrong. I thought we were going to stop by 0.6, 0.62, but we wicked to 0.5. But, give or take, we closed near 0.6. Yeah, we wicked to 0.5, but we closed at 0.6. So the daily fluctuation, that's why we say in short term, the market is a voting machine. It's really hard to predict. Whereas on a long term, just look at the trend, the fundamentals. You get to do that, right? So now the price is above the 50-day moving average. The price is above the 200-day moving average. That's bullish. The trend is bullish. What else you need to know? The market is moving higher. Now, you get to look at, like, say, for example, here, when the price was kind of moving up, you kind of take the Fibonacci retracement and you look at it. When it came back down, it came in between 0.618 towards 0.78. Now, why am I saying this? Here, you get 0.618 here. We went there in May, and then we capitulated again to reach this mark of 0.76. So, giving that, we already bottomed, right? Looking at this scenario, we already bottomed. So there are worst case, like here. Now I'm neglecting that only because that was during the SEC case. The news and the current affairs came in so much, it pushed the price way lower than it should go, right? If you take the trend line, as we discussed previously, you understand that. So now, taking this normal trading conditions with the retail investors, high frequency trading bots and everything, the algorithms, it kind of works like this. So if that's going to repeat, that's like here. We are going to continue higher. And we took that and understood that like it's going to move higher towards a range of $6, $9, $10. Fine. So what does that mean? It's like 10x minimum. Now that's impulsive move in that trend line. Now why am I saying that? Because when I take you back here, you see this trend and we went and retested that top. We came back down to the moving average and then bounced. That was the wave one, which you can see there, right? Similarly, XRP is now at this point. You need to go here and that's $6, $9 mark. So here is what, if same pattern is repeating, in most of the coins it's repeating, and if it's going to come back in XRP, what we are looking at is going to be $6 to $9 impulse and then a burst after a correction. Now take that into account. You don't go to $6, $9 and then shoot up to 10, 15, 20. You go there, you come back down. 3.8, 3.5 to $4, $4.5, and then go to the $20 mark. Now, say $15 to $20 when I'm saying this from here, that's really high. But at that point in time, it won't be. when we were talking about XRP back in the days when we were like 0.1, 2.2, even $2 was like 10x, and people were saying, now we are not even going to 0.5, we are not going above $1. We went to $2, right? We know that. Now, in a similar perspective, when we see this, it's clear. You're going to get that. And when you reach there, you need to understand you should be taking profits. A lot of guys missed taking profits last time. That's when we were taking profits, right? We informed the Patreon Telegram group so that they are readily available and they know what I'm doing. When I took profit at 1.91 in XRP, we did that. When I took like 10-15x from ETC, we did that. All the other trades, ETC, Ether and others, we actually did that. Fine. Now, what's ahead? Looking at BTC, we kind of easily understand this. From this top to this top, like we kind of moved great, and it's like 880 days. But from that top to the next bottom, it was 1,300 days. Now take this into account. Here, from the top to the bottom, it's 1,800 days. There is something which you need to understand there, right? So here, you got top to bottom 1,300 days, and the bull market here continued and came back down with an additional 50% in that time. So you add that one, you kind of get 2,400 days here from the top, and right now we are at 1,300 days. You got 1,000 days more to reach that bottom. That means you got 4 months. You need to reduce 4 months from that, literally, so that you kind of detect the bear market, the start of the bear market, and you look at the top. So like, you still have long way to go. Now, the consolidative range, this is the smallest aspect I'm looking at, the shortest time period, which will still be like at least first quarter, second quarter next year. But most of the other indicators shows you mid next year towards late next year, right? So taking this into account, if you are a patient guy, you're going to make profit. And if you are an impatient guy, it's really going to be hard. That's why we do this on a regular basis, right? Give you the ideas to go through and take profits. Because it's not only about putting money in the market, it's about taking the profit somewhere near the top. Now, exact top, it's really hard. I agree, I don't get that. I'm not a good timer of the market, but most of the time we get near the top, somewhere close. 5-10%, that's fine. And that's why updating you guys about the opportunities popping in the market, and you know what you're doing, then you're going to make profit. You know what the trend is like, you make profit. When the coins are moving as anticipated, the opportunities are seized. Right, that's why we do this on a regular basis on the Patreon. You look at the daily updates and you understand that. Those who are in the Patreon get to know this, right? So if you are looking for this now, yeah, don't jump right in. There's the end of the month and Patreon gets charged twice. If you enter now, then the early next month they're going to charge you again. So yeah, even if you enter now, I'm going to refund you for that 4 days. I'm fine with that, no problem. But if you have patience, you just wait and enter on first of the month in your time zone. So that's going to be less hectic for you and me. Great value ahead, because at a time when the market is moving higher, you see a ton of opportunity. You can use a lot of different tools to understand whether your portfolio is well positioned. What different types of assets are you in? How many number of assets you are in? Is it actually good to hold all of them? Are you well positioned? Should you rebalance, restructure your account? These are all really high consideration which you should give in a bull market where we are entering the wave 2, because the wave 2 is the major money coming out. Wave 2 is the max profit. After that, wave 3, yeah, it will be profitable, but it would be something less than wave 1. So if you really want to make the giant profit, it's the time. Next 3 months, next 6 months, done. After which, when the market is moving up, it's only time for regret. Now, if you want that regret, it's up to you. You can decide your way ahead. Otherwise, you can definitely look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, if you really like the video, you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That helps a lot. So guys, I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.